Neath versus Pontypridd in the 1980s, a rivalry forged in fire. The clashes between Neath and Pontypridd in the 1980s were never just rugby matches. They were brutal examinations of will. Pride, identity and reputation were all on the line. In the amateur era, when there was no money to be made, the only currency was respect, and both sides fought for it with everything they had. A clash of styles. Neath, the Dark Machine. Under the fierce guidance of Brian Thomas, who became team manager in 1981, Neath grew into a side that terrified opponents. They were not content simply to grind teams down up front. They were all-out attack from 1 to 15. The forwards mauled and scrummed with an intensity that drained opponents, while the backs struck with ruthless efficiency. Every player in black was part of the assault. They weren't just the Welsh All Blacks in name. They carried an aura of inevitability, a machine built to dominate. Pontypridd, fearless underdogs. Pontypridd, by contrast, thrived on grit and resilience. They matched Neath's power with courage and defiance, refusing to buckle even when out-muscled. And their defence was ferocious, their counterpunches daring. Sardis Road became their fortress, a ground where emotion carried them as much as tactics. If Neath were a juggernaut, Pontypridd were the immovable stone in the path, relentless in their resistance and capable of brilliance when the moment came. The cauldron of battle, and it wasn't just the players who made these games what they were, it was the crowds. At the No, regular league fixtures could draw 6,000 to 8,000 supporters, with cup ties swelling beyond that. At Sardis Road, the House of Pain, attendances often hit 5,000 and more, with fans crammed tight on the terraces, spilling against barriers, voices merging into a wall of noise. When Neath arrived in their black shirts, the roar of Neath, Neath, Neath greeted them, was as much challenge as it was fear. When Pontypridd surged forward at home, the stands seemed to shake with every tackle and turnover. For players, it felt like walking into an arena, and for supporters, it was more like a civic duty than a pastime. Key clashes. September 1981. Sardis erupted again as Ponty backed it up with a 20-3 win. The terraces shook and Neath's aura wavered. September 1984. A knife-edge battle, every kick cheered as though it would decide the season. Supporters swore they'd never heard the Knoll louder. January 1988, the Knoll. With close to 8,000 watching, Neath surged late, driving home their all-out attacking style to snatch victory. It was a defining moment in their return to dominance. These contests were tight, brutal and unforgettable, but above all, they were shared. The packed terraces made them communal epics. The rivalry was about more than the tally of wins and losses. It forged the identity of both clubs. For Neath, the decade confirmed their creed: relentless power, unyielding pressure, and attack from every position on the field. By the late 80s, they were laying the foundations for dominance. For Pontypridd, those same contests hardened their mentality. They became a club that thrived under pressure, a spirit that carried them into the 1990s golden era. The Neath-Pontypridd clashes of the 1980s were crucibles. They were wars fought in scrums and rucks, battles witnessed by thousands packed into grounds that shook with noise and passion. Out of those fiery contests emerged not only great games, but the very identities of two of Welsh rugby's fiercest clubs,